Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded and I have a fun Halloween card to share with you today. Hey, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's Gnome dies with the Halloween add-ons, our card mat dies, the Gnome dies Candy Charm Add Ons, Wine Tag dies, Gnomie Want Candy stamp set and outline dies, along with our label shape dies and our Gnome dies. And then I'm also using Odds and Ends Pumpkin Party, along with the stamp sets, or along with the 6-inch pads Bouville, Ghost Town, Gingham Linen, and Dot Stripe. There we go. So I've got a piece of orange zest cardstock from Papetree Ink, 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches, with my Teflon bone folder and my Martha Stewart scoreboard. I went ahead and I cut paper out from one of those pads with our card mat dies using my Gemini machine, and I'm just going to stick that down with ATG tape, just trying to get it centered. It's going to be the little ghosty background, which is kind of fun. And then I cut out this wine tag die. I cut it out in the dot in the orange, and then I cut it out in the stripe in the purple. So that's the dot stripe from Doodlebug. Then I'm going to line them up. I didn't cut the whole thing out for the background piece, just up till, where I needed it. And now I'm going to add that to the center front of my card. So this is going to be my little nest for my image. So there we go, just trying to get it straight and even, working on my Stampin' Up! Pad as per usual. Okay, so on the inside, I'm adding a piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, 4 by 5.25 inches, just with some ATG tape again. So, easy stuff. Nothing too crazy. There we go. And then I'm going to add a strip of paper from that same, one of those same pads, just like a little, like 3/4 inch. And I cut the label shape die first out of that orange zest cardstock. So I'm going to kind of layer that in the background. Then I'm going to pop on this little 3/4 inch strip on top of it. There we go. So this is going to give me a spot to add my little sentiments on the inside. And you know how I like to decorate the inside a little bit. I'll cut off the overhang there with a pair of scissors. And there we go. So, pretty easy. So I've got a little ghost from that Odds and Ends from Doodlebug. And then I've got my sentiments that are stamped and cut out. That's that Gnomie Want Candy stamp set and outline die. So I've got 2 sentiments that I'm using on the inside. There we go. So I'm just getting things all straight here. There we go. And there's my sentiment. And there we go. So haunting with my gnomies kind of goes with the ghost idea, right? And then the gnome on the front is a little ghost, and then this one will say Happy Halloween, which is kind of fun, right? So there we go. I'm going to use a Secure White Jelly Roll pen in a number 10 and add a few little highlights to this ghost. I'm also going to pull out my Secure Black Glaze pen to darken the eyes a little bit later. So this is my little gnome that I put together on our release and review from that from earlier in the month in September. So you can watch me put that together on the release and review for that. There we go. And I'm just going to stick him down in the center of the card. There we go. I've got some Studio Katia 3mm Google Eyes on that spider, which is kind of fun, right? I'm just going to make sure it's stuck down with my art glitter glue. And then I have this cute little ghost that he's going to be holding. I'm just going to weight that down. And now I'm going to glue on the little ghost, keeping it flat because the hands are popped up. And there we go. So cute. His skin is P13's, skin tones pad. So that right there is, I cut it out of the Gnome dies Candy Charm Add Ons. So I cut the little scalloped circle from the purple, and then I cut the stitch circle from the orange. And then I went ahead and I cut, I cut out a white circle, and then I popped up the boo from that Gnomie Want Candy stamp set. And you see that I'm just sort of layering it up so it's, doesn't dip over the edge. And I did pop up that boo image. I did color it with Copics YR04, 07, and 09, but they'll all be listed on my blog. So there we go. So now I went ahead and I cut out Halloween, what are they called? The Halloween banner dies. And I cut them out with white cardstock from Paper Tray Ink. And then I'm using American Crafts black cardstock, and I'm just sticking it behind there so you can see the little black eyes and mouths through the ghosts. And I'm going to pop up 3 of these ghosts on the back of my card, just, you know, visual triangle, all that jazz. So I'm just going to add that down. And there we go. I do use a little circle punch. It's a 1/2-inch circle punch. It's an EK Success one, just because I find that's the perfect size to fit behind there. And that way I don't have to do any trimming. There we are. So I'm going to first add on 1 little ghost on the inside. And then on the outside, I'm going to pop up 3 using my Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. So there we go. So you see his little gingham linen hat, which is kind of fun, right? His little beard is American Crafts cardstock as per usual. And like I said, everything will be listed on my blog. There we go. So I do trim down my dimensionals sometimes to fit where I want them to. And there we go. I'm going to put 1 to the left, and then I'll have 2 to the right. There we go. There's 1, and then I'll have 1 in the lower right. Just so you have that visual triangle again. Sometimes when you cut out dies, it leaves a gray mark on white cardstock. So I just erase it with an eraser. It comes right off. There we are. And now I'm going to add a few little white highlights to my gnome on the front here, just to add a little bit of, you know, like I always say, make it a little more special, right? Add a little bit of highlights. Nothing crazy though, because it's not like I'm a professional at this. There we are. I don't really take into consideration light and all that. Okay, now these are Studio Katia's Wicked Fusion mixed sequins. And I'm going to add those to the front of my card with my art glitter glue. They're in a little triangle tray from Simon Says Staff, and I'm going to use the Studio Katia embellishment wand to pick them up and put them in place, which is kind of fun. And I'm just going to use some of the colors from this card, which is kind of perfect, right? So I'm going to add those all on. And then I will pull out my Nouveau Crystal drops to add a little white drop to the center of all of these, because I really don't like the hole. I'm one of those people that don't like the hole on the sequins. I know, it's crazy. Like, it looks fine, but there's something about that hole that bugs me. So I always try to cover it up with some Nouveau Crystal drops. So there we go. So now I'm just making sure I have an odd number and all that jazz. So I've got to add another one. And then I can complete this little card. So it's really simple. Like, once you put together your gnome, it's like pretty fast. Just a lot of die cutting, right? There we go. So I'm checking that out, counting them, because, you know, I'm obsessed with that kind of stuff. Now I'm pulling out a Nouveau Crystal Drops in Simply White. It's kind of one of my favorite colors, or non-colors. And I'm just going to add a droplet to the center of each sequin. Just to, you know, it hides that little dot, and it also tones down the sequin a bit, because white is kind of, you know, a theme that's going, a non-color that's on this card, right? You've got all the white ghosts and the white little ghosts in the background, so it just kind of blends in, but you still get that pop of color from around the edge of the sequins. So there we go. Isn't that cute? So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog and be inspired. The Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on these adorable, cute products. And thank you as always for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we will see you soon in my next one. Bye, everyone.